I am feeling inspired to make a video, so here we are. I finally got the shop squared away, and most importantly to me is this new machine over here. It is a CNC mill. It's an older one, but it's been retrofitted with a new control, which means the electronics are pretty modern. But I will be getting more into that later. But for right now, I want to introduce the new to you guys. I don't know if you guys have ever seen this car. This is I actually bought this car brand new in 2013, and I had it out in California, drove it for several years, and then I ended up selling it to my brother-in-law, and he had it for several years, but the original EJ255 in it ended up blowing up, so he put a EJ20X in it. And with California, he ran into a bunch of smog issues and basically just wanted to get rid of the car. So I told him I would buy it back, and here we are. So I ended up selling the EXO car to kind of fund, build the shop, or to fund the shop to get it built. And I have no regrets on that. And this is, it's got AC still, and it's got some goodies that I'm gonna throw on it. All right, so let's pop the hood and see what we are working with. Yep, there's that small top mount. So the car has a cob access port currently. I got a, let's see, turn this light on. I got a cheap downpipe on there, and I'm running a like stage 1 tune. It's got a cob intake. Other than that, it's the stock EJ20X. Don't know how many miles are on it. Don't really care. I'm just gonna throw some parts at it and have some fun with it. My goal with this car is to keep it streetable, unlike the last two cars I've had, the EXO car and the EF that I had. I ripped the AC out of the EF and went full race car, and then obviously the EXO car never had AC. And that got old really quick, especially with the older that I'm getting. I really enjoy the creature comforts of AC and nice seats, and just keeping it somewhat streetable. I want to get the front mount intercooler that I started a while ago for this thing finished, and then we'll go from there. But I did start a while back some piping for this guy, and get it all laid out up here. Got the top mount intercooler ripped out of there, and I got the front mount resting here on these plastic tabs, and I am going to kind of mock up the piping because I don't remember exactly where it rested in there. I had some brackets that I have since lost, so I need to kind of figure out where it's gonna lie in there, and then we can go from there. I do know that I'm going to need to remake this bracket, because when I originally mocked up these pipes, I had a different turbo on this car that didn't work with the setup that's on there now. So might be using that guy over there to make a new flangey guy. Well, I got the pipes kind of laid in here. I don't even bother putting the bottom pieces in here. You can see it comes out from here and then shoots over, and then kind of same thing on this side. Those little 90s, those 90s come off and then shoot in there, which these needed reworked anyways because the bumper didn't fit with these how they are right now. So, and then like I said, this flange is way off, so everything kind of needs rework, so there's no point really mocking it up. What I'm gonna do is get the intercooler where I want it, and then pretty much base everything else off of that. So this intercooler is small, but according to Mishimoto, it's good for 400 horsepower, which even on ethanol, I probably won't make that with this car, with the EJ20X. So, but we are gonna turn it up and try. So, yeah, let's make some brackets for the intercooler. All right, this is what I got so far for the bracket. Pretty simple. All right, so I kind of skipped ahead, but got the bumper back on and the brackets in place. I'm liking the way that it's sitting in there. Again, I'm gonna make some block off plates to kind of clean the front bumper up. Front bumper's pretty tore up anyways, so it needs a little bit of love. But I'm gonna pull off the front bumper, show you the bracket. Stupid little brackets like this, they take forever sometimes. Just like, it's crazy. Made this top bracket really simple, just some angle iron, and then I bent these up and then went to that bolt hole. And then the bottom, let's see if I can get you down under here. You can kind of see it on the workbench, but I just welded these, same thing, made some bends and found these bolt holes on both sides. And it's pretty locked in there, so happy with that. I do remember I thought these corners hit on the front bumper and I was gonna have to modify these, but I put the front bumper on and it seems fine, so I'm just gonna run it like that. Something I did kind of off camera was I modeled up, I wasn't happy with this flange over here. This was just a quick flange I had made for that other turbo when it was on there, and there was no O-ring or anything. Well, now that I got the CNC mill, I modeled this plastic one up and 3D printed it, and it takes the stock O-ring, and this was my second revision, but pretty much nailed it. Really happy with that. All right, got the stock all squared up and loaded into the vise. I just added this stop, hoping that it helps with like repeatability, because when you do like an operation, which is where you cut and then you have to pull the part and load it back in, it just makes it easier to locate it in the same spot. That way the machine knows exactly where it's at. So hopefully that works out for me. But yeah, let's take a stab at making this flange. This is probably like the most complicated thing I've made so far, and I'm curious how this inside, because I tapered it from whatever this smaller dimension is to 2.5 inches for the piping, so there's like a smooth transition. So we'll see how that comes out. But yeah, I'm gonna go hop on my computer and do the cam operations and let's go from there. Alright, so here is the first side of the flange. They call it Operation 1. And everything went pretty smooth. I made a couple mistakes, mostly on this inside chamfer. There's kind of a ridge. Can't really see it because it's so shiny, but there's a ridge, and I could have set my tool path a little differently. And then I also made the outside perimeter a little too small because I clicked on the wrong perimeter. So kind of lessons learned is, instead of doing the chamfers on the model, I'm just going to make everything square, like 90, and then it's probably a lot of gibberish for most of you, but then I can just add the chamfer into my tool path. I think that's going to work out better for me than trying to model it with chamfers. But anyways, I'm pretty stoked with that. I've been struggling to flip parts over and then have repeatability and accuracy. So we'll see how this goes. Worst case scenario is I can always just use this piece of it and then machine or come up with a reducer for the flange after. Like I could literally just use this part of the flange and face off the other side. Well, here it is. I was unable to do the second side like I wanted to. Ran into some issues, and I ended up just kind of facing it off, and I just spent way too much time trying to do this second op that I just kind of gave up. Still learning. So that's pretty cool. And then that guy is just gonna go right there, just like so. All right, I got this pipe cut, and then the flange just laying here. So, when I lopped the flange off this side, the old flange. So it's looking like if I just take a little bit, oops. If I just take a little bit off the bottom and then some up here, it should line up fairly easily. All right, we got the flange installed. I ended up having to tap this for a bigger bolt because that thread was messed up. I got this piece cut and trimmed, and fairly happy with how this is lining up. I should be able to do a little pie cut to kind of finish everything up. All right, got a pie cut out here, and I think it's gonna be close enough. Kind of hard to do with one hand here. Usually you can kind of spin it around and find a point that has the least amount of gap. I think it might have been this way. Yeah, there we go. So something like that. There's some little gaps, but I think I can make this work. All right, kind of forgot where I led off here. I ended up throwing the bumper back on just to do one last fitment check. Everything looks good. The last thing I gotta do is the bypass valve flange and then figure out a mounting location. I was kind of thinking about tucking it under there somewhere underneath the pipe to kind of hide it, since it's the stock kind of ugly one anyways, and then when I eventually upgrade, it'll be down under the way anyways. I don't think that should affect anything, so I think that's what I'm gonna do. And we're just gonna go old school on this to create this flange. I'm not gonna get all fancy like I did with that one. So we'll just use the bandsaw, make a template out of paper and cut it out, and then drill some holes and weld it on there. So if you've never seen this trick before, just get a little dirt on your fingers, take your piece of paper, push it down, try to hold it kind of in the same area, and then you just want to go around, and we're going to make a little template here. keep the paper from moving. All right. And we got our template here. Got the paper glued on to this 1/2-inch piece of flat aluminum stock I had laying around. So I'm just gonna cut out the pattern on my bandsaw and then drill the rest out. Alright, we got the flange cut out. Definitely not perfect, but you're not really going to see it anyways. And all the holes line up pretty good. Alright, got the bypass valve installed under there. It ended up being a lot more involved than I had originally planned. It's not the prettiest, don't look too closely, but it's on there and it's going to work. So all I got to do is throw a couple more clamps on. Actually, I got this side all clamped up. Got some more stuff we're gonna do here in the near future, so stay tuned.